Rest in peace.
No, it's a fun, enjoyable. It's a Lego game. Like
Favorite
it's
character
charming
in
as
the
all
game?
hell. I mean, I have to go with Doctor Octopus just because it's so rare to be able to play as Doctor Octopus.
You make a good point, man. That's a good idea for a theme. Next week's theme: characters with bowl cuts. Nothing.
No, I'm not doing that.
Not octopuses or like multi-arm characters, but characters with bad bowl cuts.
See, I'm sitting there as like, okay, like games with octopi, games with tentacles, like games where you play as villains, like games
where you
with
cut your own
unexpected
hair.
characters, like games with bowl cuts. Like, I didn't know what to expect, and somehow I wasn't expecting that.
Amen. Let's game that tune, baby. Johnny, let's keep it going.
Game 3.
To the lightning round.
The original soundtrack, I do want to point out, this is our fan request, which came to us from our Discord, but I'm not giving the name, so no hints there. The original soundtrack of this game, composed by Gene Rosenberg, was released by EA Games as a free download on its website. However, since EA redesigned their website, it has been removed. So now that everyone is at the point who is writing or presenting their answers, this was requested in our Discord by Bedroth, and then the request was seconded by the messenger.
I'll bow down to the messenger.
Oh, Jesse is so close with the Addams family. Sadly incorrect. John and John both have the correct answer of Henry Hatsworth. This is...
Oh.
No, go ahead.
King it again.
This is Henry Hatsworth and the Puzzling Adventure.
Awesome. And what is so
So-
puzzling about said adventure?
So did anyone play Henry Hatsworth?
I have wait, I think I know someone. David, did you play Henry Hatsworth?
I did. Did anyone else play Henry Hatsworth?
I missed this one.
No.
See, this is one of those like weird little gems of the DS library, like because this came out a while into the DS's life. Because this came out in 2009, and the DS came out in what, like 2004, 2005?
Yeah,
And, like-
I'm a little disappointed. I feel like I should have mentioned this game on GTT Gyms earlier this year, and I think I might have totally missed it.
Because this was like in the period where like the DS, people forget this, but the DS kind of had a slow start, and then like once people got used to the touchscreens, like, wait, we can do some pretty cool stuff with this, and like this came out in that really creative period. Because this is
It didn't have that slow of a start. It didn't take until 2009 for it to hit its stride.
no, but
Yeah.
like it when the DS first came out, like a lot of the early games, you got a bonus map screen, and that was it. Like,
Ooh, yeah, you got your Metroid Prime Hunters, and you're you gotta feel that magic, baby.
but so this game is a 2D platformer and puzzle game. The top screen, you play as this British gentleman named Henry Hatsworth, who's an adventurer, and he's going on an adventure to collect golden pieces of a magic suit. He's not looking for treasure. He's not looking for like to conquer kingdoms. He's literally looking for a new suit because that's what British gentlemen do.
Yeah, he's just a dapper motherfucker. He's on a mission.
It's a standard platformer. You jump from thing to thing. You fight enemies. You have a sword and a pistol that you can use. And then at any time you can push a button and the action goes to the bottom screen where it's like a color match 3 Tetris Attack style puzzle game.
Huh.
As you like, there are certain blocks that come up that will give you power ups. So like you can match up lightning blocks, and then that will like shoot a lightning attack on the top screen and just kind of like stun all the enemies. And as you kill enemies, they become blocks that you then have to clear on the bottom screen. And if you just wait and don't clear out those enemies, they will actually resurrect because they slowly like get pushed to the top of the screen and then come back to mess with you again. So like, you constantly have to switch back and forth between, a fun little platforming adventure and then this puzzle game.
I like it. I thought it was just a puzzle game, which always confused me. I'm like, now why do I have to do a match 3 puzzle as a dapper British guy? Like that, seems like an unnecessary flourish for a match 3 puzzler. But okay. I don't play anything but Mario Kart DS on my DS, but that sounds cool. No, I like it. I didn't know it was a combination of things, but it just, it looks so charming. Look at that little guy, man. He's fighting stuff
With
and
his
puzzling.
Fantastic mustache.
He's got a fantastic mustache. I mean, it's now, I'm worried looking at this guy. I don't know his backstory. He might be a confirmed bachelor. It might be like a Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen situation. But from the look of it, he might be in contention for gaming's greatest granddad. Like, he's a dapper old motherfucker. Like,
I'm trying to remember because it's obviously
it's a one-off, and they don't touch on that in the story.
Oh yeah, this was one of those games. It's like, hey, here's a fun little experiment. It's like people are like, wow, that was really cool. All right, I'm never gonna buy a game like this again. Like,
right?
It was a one and done. It was published by EA, so they're like, oh, it didn't make $1 billion. Pass.
Right, exactly. We couldn't Madden Ultimate Team this bitch. I can't believe nobody wanted to download our Henry Hatsworth card packs or whatever EA does. I don't know. But
Yeah,
yeah,
because I wanted to check. He has an assistant named Cole. There's an evil villain that he fights and everything, but there's no like. I do remember that being something that was kind of cool. Was because he's trying to piece together the golden suit. There's like no damsel in distress, no princess to rescue. So I don't know. I don't. He might be a confirmed old bachelor. I don't know that he is a grandfather.
so yeah, it would also be cool if he was just like, I don't know, an old gay man. Like they just made that canon 10 years ago. Like you're playing as a dapper British dandy man who just like, yeah, I'm after a suit. I can kill motherfuckers with a gun and a sword, and yeah, I have sex with very young men all over the world. I'm Henry Hatsworth. What do you want from me? Like, yeah.
I mean, not very young, but
Who would
I didn't say children. I just he seems like kind of guy who'd be traveling the world in an ascot and a bowler with a big old mustache, and he'd attract the fucking the guys in their 20s. That's the vibe I'm getting off this Henry Hatsworth, man. He'd be just I don't know, shining his monocle at these motherfuckers, and they'd be just drawn to him. He's a gentleman.
so?
He's
Who do you think would win in a fight, Henry Hatsworth or Professor Layton?
ooh.
ooh,
Layton.
It
you know,
seems like Leighton because he's younger, but
I was gonna say on the one hand, like Leighton definitely has like the speed advantage, but I mean Henry Hatsworth's a pretty agile guy, even for an older guy. I know.
that's kind of what I'm thinking, man. Henry Hatsworth is like an old, like bare knuckle boxing type motherfucker. Like he looks like he came up rough and tumble, and once the match finished, he and his opponent would just kind of settle it in the bedroom with some sweat soaked sorries. Whereas Professor Layton is just kind of a guy in a top hat. He doesn't seem like he fights anybody. He's a puzzle solver, and he doesn't fuck men. I mean, it's just
Professor Layton has some fencing skills. But Henry Hatsworth has his sword skills. So I think what it really comes down to is Henry Hatsworth has a gun.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give him the fight.
Yeah. See, I didn't play Professor Layton either, so I didn't know if he fenced or if he just like drank tea and solved shit. So, yeah.
I mean, mostly he drinks tea and solves shit, but I think in like the third or fourth game, he gets into like a fencing match.
Okay. It's not quite not quite as cool as old Henry Hatsworth. They should have made more of these guys, man. I like this Hatsworth. I like the headcanon I'm creating for him, where he's a jet-setting old gay man around the world who bare-knuckle boxes and then has sex with his opponent. It seems like a really fun game, especially when you consider the match 3 puzzle element. I mean,
I'd really like to make the episode title "Sweat-Soaked Sorries."
quiet you. It's supposed to be just a move past it line. You're not supposed to hear that. Yeah, we're not talking about that.
The episode title would be Genteel Dandy Bare Knuckle Boxer.
That's the word I've been looking for, not dandy. Dandy seems like a pejorative. Genteel was the word I've been looking for. Damn it, I've been saying something slightly insulting this whole time. I don't mean it to be insulting. I think it'd be really cool if he was an old gay man who traveled the world and got guys and also fucking shot people. Like, it'd be cool.
That's literally like one of my dreams. Like, I want to travel the world. I want to get guys. I want to shoot people.
Throw a puzzle element in there. It's good.
For some reason, I imagine him traveling in a hot air balloon.
That's Professor Layton. Goddammit.
Oh,
No. See, Professor Layton would be in the hot air balloon. Henry Hatsworth has a dirigible. It's a world of
Hell
difference.
Yeah, Henry Hatsworth has a luxury box in a fucking Zeppelin. He's great.
His sexy luxury box.
That's where you go in between puzzle missions or whatever. Just cuts back to the boudoir of his sexy Zeppelin.
God, the hot tea mod for this game.
Oh, no.
Oh, you.
Oh, Johnny. That's why we never got the sequel. Why no sequel to fucking Henry Hatsworth? It was the hot tea controversy. David, anything else on Henry Hatsworth before we move on real fast?
We can't. No. Hot tea mod. That peaks. We're done.
Thank you, Bedroth, for the request.
Game 4.
All right. So, as well as remixes of the original game's theme, the soundtrack was provided by RZA, Mostef, Fear Factory, Slipknot, Soulfly, Dub Pistols, Shadows Fall, Opeth, and Lil Flip.
Wow.
All right, who's got some answers for me?
Well, everybody's writing down their answers. Johnny, can you get a fresh take of you saying RZA? You, God damn it, John! I'm so mad at you.
Oh,
Thank you, David.
All right,
You fuck.
let's get John's answer up. All right, so Jesse says "getting up," which is incorrect. David says it's pronounced RZA, which which is correct. And
It is correct.
And then John says Final Fight Streetwise, which is this game. This is Final Fight Streetwise with soundtrack by RZA, not RZA.
Thank
'cause I'm
you.
a dumbass.
That made me so goddamn angry.
So have you guys ever played this Final Fight game, the Final Fight game with guns?
The best thing in the Final Fight series, guns
And dark
No.
levels and lots of swearing and biblical elements.
I'm so disappointed I haven't played this because
This game has
it
a lot
seems so
going on.
insane.
Wait, I'm sorry. Biblical elements?
Yeah, take Final Fight and mash it up with maybe Buffy the Vampire Slayer or something like that. You've got Final Fight and a lot more swearing, and you've got Final Fight Streetwise.
Wait,
Okay, see,
how?
Yeah,
I was under the impression that this was a bad game, but Final Fight with Buffy the Vampire Slayer and swearing sounds like a fucking great game.
Yeah,
And
so
RZA.
you're
Jeez.
playing.
and RZA music.
You're playing as Kyle Travers, younger brother of Cody. And Cody has gotten mixed up in some, like, he's trying to get back into street fighting, and he's gotten mixed up in drugs.
Wait, Cody Rhodes?
Oh,
He's been taking a drug to pump himself up, and it turns out the drug is made by a psychotic priest. And so you wind up fighting other monsters or people or whatever that have also been doped up. And you wind up fighting war and pestilence and death and things like that. And you're fighting in
those are the names of
graveyards.
men.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm like, wait, what? Oh, right. Fucking street guys named
Yeah.
War and Pestilence.
And,
Great.
Yeah. It's got a cameo of Cammy from the Street Fighter series. You can fight her in an optional fight.
A cameo. Oh,
Oh.
No.
Man, that outfit she's wearing, that makes me have a little cameo. Oh man, the butt. Cammy
What?
has a butt. Cammy's got a butt. She's got a butt.
Yeah, I believe
it's her whole character, really.
I was just saying, if you have ever played a Street Fighter game, that is not news to you.
Yeah. That's why they cast Kylie Minogue in the Street Fighter movie. Famous butt. So yeah,
famous
Cammy
butt.
with a
That's
butt.
the episode title.
Just famous butt. Anyway,
That's the theme for next week.
oh god,
Yeah.
bowl cuts and butts on next week's episode.
Gonna use the Three Stooges game.
It's either got to be a
Hey,
character
Mo.
with a bowl cut or a famous butt. But anyway, Johnny. So yeah, Final Fight Streetwise. I know you put some time into this. How do you feel? How do you feel like they did incorporating Kyle Travers, the new character, into the game?
I don't think they did a great job of it, to be honest. It really felt shoehorned in there.
Really?
Yeah, because, like, one, he wasn't in any of the previous Final Fight games, so that's kind of just out of
That's-
nowhere. There's a brother.
That's how new characters work. Yes, especially when the sequel takes place 11 years or so after the previous game. Like Final Fight 3 came out on the Super Nintendo,
Yeah.
and this game came out in 2006.
Yep.
It barely beat the PS3 to market. Like,
I mean, I don't know if it's 11 years in real time and game time, but I mean, honestly, in Final Fight 3, you should have been able to play as Kyle Travers as a 7-year-old boy.
exactly. It's or maybe it's that thing. It's like that Hobbs and Shaw situation, like Jason Statham and that woman who is like 25 years younger than he is. They're siblings, but they show like flashbacks to when they were kids. Like you're supposed to think that Jason Statham's like 36 when he's actually like 53. Maybe that's the situation. Maybe Cody is he's got a younger brother that looks real young, but in reality Cody's like supposed to be 36 and Kyle's like, I don't know, 22 or some shit. Like I don't know. It's stupid. It's stupid that they made this. It's stupid that it's not just Cody and fucking Hagar and Guy. I mean, like
They really loved the swearing in this game. That kind of drove me nuts. Like, there's some cutscenes where it's like, I swear to God, you fucking piece of shit, motherfucker, shithead. You know, I was like, whoa, buddy. Like,
Johnny, see, normally when you bring up shit like this, you should bring sound clips because I want to hear it from the mouths of Hagar.
yeah,
But,
I didn't get the chance for that. But
damn it, man. Nah, it just seems like such a folly. I fucking love Final Fight. It's so silly, and it just doesn't seem like the kind of thing that translates to a PlayStation 2. Not the way they were trying to make games for the PlayStation 2. Like if they had done just a really sick ass arcade belt scroller for PS2 with cool graphics in the air, that's one thing. But I don't think this is that.
no, this is closer to a sandbox style game like Grand Theft Auto. Like you have your ability to go on side missions and choose, how you want to progress the story and things like that.
I mean, the idea of like an open world beat 'em up with like optional side missions sounds okay, but like the fact that they tried to do like gritty urban version, like no, like Final Fight was colorful.
Yeah,
there should be color in this game.
Gritty urban and like a lot of time in a church and there's demons version. Like it is.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Dark.
See, that's a weird fucking inclusion. Like, and the problem with an open world beat 'em up, and I don't know if this is the problem that applies to Final Fight Streetwise, but it's a problem that I face, say, in just playing like the Spider-Man game on PS4. After a time, you get a little annoyed when you're trying to move through the city and everyone wants to fight. It's just like, dude, I'm sorry, I'm trying to do a side mission. I just need to like deliver this pizza, and you got to like brawl with like 8 motherfuckers to do it. Or in Spider-Man's case, it's like I'm just trying to go like activate a satellite or something. Why am I being shot at with like fucking rocket launchers? Like, why are there guys on every rooftop with rocket launchers? What happened to this poor city?
Speaking of shot at, that was really drawing. I watched a video of like all the bosses.
Guns.
And yeah, first boss, guy in a forklift. He tries to run you with the forklift. You hit some boxes. You beat him up. Okay, good. Second boss.
You got to keep moving forward.
Second boss, you both have guns. I was like, ugh. Like, what is this?
I mean, I'm into it. I love guns. They're great. Yeah, especially in a beat 'em up setting where, previously you've played as super powered fucking pro wrestling mayor characters.
Now, if they had tweaked it, there's one easy tweak they could have done, which is that the fight starts, the guns jam, you beat each other up with the guns. Boom.
Yes.
Okay,
Still
yeah.
a sweet beat 'em up.
See, yeah, if it was a pistol whipping beat 'em up, then I'm into it. But strictly pistol whipping, you never get to shoot.
That's what it should have been. It should have just been Final Fight Pistol Whip.
Yeah, or just you have the button to throw the gun. Like
Every gun in this game jams. Oh, that'd be so good.
God, Smith & Wesson needs to come to Metro City. This shit is insane.
Yeah, there are all those carbon fiber pistols that you can sneak through a metal detector, like in The Dark Knight in the courtroom scene, and they jam, and then fucking Harvey Dent punches the guy out. If you want to kill a public servant, I suggest you buy American. Except this time it's Hagar saying it. Just make The Dark Knight with Hagar playing Harvey Dent. There are ways to make this Final Fight Streetwise game a lot better than what it was. Just take things that are good and add Final Fight characters to them.
I also
don't take like Max Payne and add Final Fight characters to it.
I also love that original Final Fight, Slipknot soundtrack. It's pretty dope.
I honestly I didn't even know that they had music from bands like that. I'm gonna really have to look this. The soundtrack is gonna be a lot of fun to find and add to GTT Radio. It's gonna be so annoying. I can already tell. Oh God. But yeah, so we barely even touched on Hagar. So you do get to play as Hagar. You're not just playing as Kyle Travers.
Not in the story mode. Strictly in the arcade mode, unfortunately. But you do get to play as Hagar.
So close to getting a DQ. So close.
I have toned the line, I know. But
yeah, you're lucky. You're lucky we love Macho Mike Hagar, man.
You
that
can
guy's just fantastic.
Control him.
Yes. Okay. No one can control Hagar.
John, that is a lie. No one controls Mike Hagar.
Pile drive your ass into the ground, Missy. But yeah, anyway, anything else on Final Fight Streetwise? The greatest game in the history of the Final Fight universe. And, it's so good that this is the last game in the Final Fight universe.
I do have one question. Is this game canon to Street Fighter?
See.
I don't know. Have you played Street Fighter 3? It's really fucked up and weird. And so is this game. So
What would this have to do with Street Fighter 3? This came out 7 years after Street Fighter 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I got.
Game
If anything,
5.
we're looking for the influence in future games. I need James' influence on Street Fighters 4 and 5.
Oh, I haven't played
And,
those.
and Cross Tekken.
Which is really just a backhanded way for me to pull out my soapbox and once again demand, why has Hagar not been in a Street Fighter game?
It bears repeating, man. Say it one more time for the people in the back. Like,
Why has Hagar not been in a Street Fighter game?
the clapping emojis are implied, people. Put Hagar in Street Fighter or make a fucking new Final Fight game. Like, and make it good this time. We can act like Street Fighter or like Streetwise never existed. We're willing to move past it. Like they're making Streets of Rage 4. Call those motherfuckers up to be like, hey guys, we need to renew the old rivalry. We need Final Fight 4. Can you do it? And they'll be like, wait, didn't you guys do a Final Fight 4? Wasn't it called Streetwise? They're like, up. We're willing to move past all that Slipknot music if you'll make us a very good new Final Fight. Like, just bring it out, man. Get the River City Girls crew on it. Get Way Forward making a Final Fight 4. Get anybody to do it. Like, I don't see why it hasn't happened. David, you're coming all over the screen. What's happening?
I just had like the image of like, oh, Way Forward Hagar sprite, and that made me happy on so many levels.
Yeah, I'd be into it. Real fucking into it. But anyway, great pick, John. I look forward to you streaming a full Let's Play of this game.
Ooh.
And, in the meantime, let's keep it moving to our final game of the night.
Game 5.
All right. For this game, the most drastic change was the chicken transformation. While in the previous game, it was only used for traversing small corridors, it now in this game has an entire fighting move set and its own unique special moves. Oh man, I've been wanting to talk about this game forever. What do you guys got? Let's see. Johnny with oh my god. I'm not
count
even I'm not I do I have to read his
Read ours.
guacamole 2, which is incorrect. And then John and David said guacamole 2, which is correct. What? Oh my god. What a swerve.
That's why Johnny shouldn't have the soundboard.
Oh, my man.
So
Anyway, Guacamole 2.
Guacamole Dos. Oh my god, this game is so good. So fucking good. The main character Juan, he has a mustache underneath that mask.
I was going to say, now, how do we know? Have we confirmed that?
Yes, because I was just about to say, you can unlock multiple costumes. One of the costumes is he's dressed up like a chicken, and you can see his face, and he has a mustache.
Okay, even if it's just mustache when you're a chicken, that's fine with me.
Also,
it seems rude to unmask a luchador as an alternate costume.
Oh yeah.
Not even rude, disgraceful even.
Well, also, I believe his skull has a mustache too, because there's a alternate time. Okay, so the whole game takes place around the Mexiverse, which is like the multiverse, but I guess Mexican. And
I saw Coco. I know what the Mexiverse is.
Yeah, And so,
I've been to Epcot.
yeah. And
Duh!
so, it's pretty great. Okay, so the game starts off, and it's the final battle from the first Guacamelee. And when you beat Kalaka, who's like the big skeleton dude, um, it basically goes into the Dracula Richter speech from Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and he goes, "What is a luchador? But a
Oh.
miserable pile of secrets." And it's like there's so many little like fun references and stuff. And the first game got heavily criticized because it had a lot of memes and references and stuff in it.
I loved
And
it.
I know. And so in this game, there's actually a level where there's like a stage you find, and it's just it's called like the dankest timeline. And so it's just a place with all the dankest memes and a bunch of like critics talking about how terrible all the memes are and stuff.
Oh,
It's pretty great. I love when video games do that. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, we got. It's like whenever Gremlins 2 opens up with the dude saying that he hated the Gremlins movie, and then the Gremlins show up and eat him. God, what was his name? Fuck, Leonard Maltin. There you go.
Huh. That's weird. I'm having a hard time. My Google Translate doesn't seem to have a translation for dank from English to Spanish. I don't understand what's happening. These think I'm just trying to put German words in there. That's not the case.
It could just be one of those things where
I
it's
typed dank and it said glacius. I'm like, no, I know that's not the right. Like, that's not right at all.
it could just be a case of Spanish like taking that word in. Like I remember studying Spanish and learning all the like electronic communication words, and the internet was just el internet, and email was like el email.
El dank meme.
Yeah.
Los memes dank.
Meme.
Los memes de dank.
Episode title.
Los memes danko profundo. Anyway, so profoundly dank memes aside, man, I'm a little disappointed that I haven't played this one yet either. But in fairness to myself, I barely scratched the surface of the original Guacamelee. I had a lot of fun with it. I had finished a little bit of it, but no, it something about these modern Metroidvanias where I have fun for the few hours I play them, and I rarely finish them. They're cool though.
These games just really hooked me because they can be very punishing hard, and I'm typically if a game gets too hard, I'll end up bending the knee and not playing anymore.
Right.
But this game, it has really good checkpoints. Like when you die, you resurrect usually pretty close to at least that like area of the dungeon that you're in. So I feel like
does this come out after Celeste? Did they maybe realize the best way to go for some of these things was to be generous with the checkpoints?
I'm not sure. Let's see.
I think it did, but I'm sure it didn't come out in time for them to have that really affect their fucking development.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But it's a good idea because I love Celeste. It's very hard, and it keeps you from getting frustrated because you just start in the same room over again. So similar thing in play here. That's good. Good for a guy like me.
And like you learn all your abilities from like these statues that look like the ones in Metroid, and you like have to break them, and then that's when the old goat man shows up and teaches you the move.
I love the old goat man.
Yeah.
So David, did you play either of these Guacamelees?
I played the original. I did not play the sequel. I wanted to play the sequel when I saw it was announced because I enjoyed the first one a lot. But for some reason, the sequel just kind of slipped me by.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth checking into. Because it's basically a lot more Guacamelee, a lot more enemy types. Like I mentioned in the trivia, the chicken is way more useful. Has a lot fighting abilities and special moves. So like there's certain fights that you'll have to be the chicken and fight. And if you use a different costume, then your chicken is different too. So that's always nice.
Nice.
And there's also a move. You finally get this move you know how like in Metroid when you're the ball you can drop bombs. Well, in the chicken you can lay eggs, and they're like they make a big deal about it. They're like, oh, so they're like bombs? They're like, no, they're just eggs, and they literally do nothing. You're just a chicken that lays eggs now.
That's
Um,
dope.
there's like a purple feather you get sometimes that turns you into a gigantic chicken, and you just wreck everything.
El
It's pretty
Chicken
great.
Profundo?
Yes, very profundo. Um, I remember there's some portals that in the Mexiverse, like there's the bonus stage timeline, and so you like show up, and this dude's like, "Oh, I just bought a new car," and it's like a red car, and you're like right next to like a background that looks very familiar. So of course you wreck the car all to hell, and then he's like, "Why did you do that?" And so
Nice.
you end up finding that area again, and he's got a new car. And that time I did not destroy it because he was so sad the first time. And
Oh.
I'm pretty sure you
It's
could
optional.
have. Yeah.
Oh, that's fucked up. I love it.
Um,
But
it's it's so good. The writing is there's so many stupid puns and a lot of weird Mexican stuff. That's I'm not sure if this game is offensive, but I feel like it isn't. But I wouldn't
right.
be, you know, the one to say
I
that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was for some reason I was trying to remember the last time we talked about guacamole, and I'm like, I feel like this isn't made. I mean, obviously it's made slightly respectfully of Mexican culture, but like I was like, yeah, isn't like Drinkbox Studios, aren't they? Nope, wait, they're from Toronto. That's kind of the other direction on the Mexican scale. They're not particularly Mexican in Toronto.
But
So
on
yeah,
the plus
I
side, if it is offensive, they can't pin it on the United States. Like it's a Canadian studio.
True.
It's not us.
yeah. I mean, maybe Canada's just like Japan. They have that, kind of playful, as long as we're not being super harmful, stereotype thing. Like, Japan made Punch Out. Canada's like, do you want to make a game about American wrestlers? No. Go one country lower. Let's make a Mexican wrestling game. Good. Hell, that's a much better idea. Hell yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's maybe in Canada they just don't have the same issues with Mexicans as we do here in America.
I would assume not.
What issues?
Yeah,
do
what
you have
issues?
with Mexicans, John?
Yeah.
I
What's your
didn't
problem?
say, hey, I'm not speaking for myself here.
When are you gonna put that red hat on? Jeez.
Yeah, it's around here somewhere. No. I'm not actually speaking for me. This is a terrible trap. Johnny, start the calculating computer.
Shit, sorry, I was not
quote,
ready.
I'll quote the president. I love
God.
Hispanics.
Calculating computer activated.
I'm just trying to say that Yoshi's cookie is pretty good and you match cookies. Can I say that? Can I? No? Fuck, man.
Oops. Scoring complete. This game's winner is John Regan.
What?
How?
Well, remember when I gave myself a hat trick? I also gave myself the win because I just haven't won in some time, and I want to win for once, and I'm never going to do it legitimately. So,
I mean,
I win tonight. It's Johnny's time.
Next episode is episode 175. Maybe a milestone. So fuck it. Maybe Johnny can pick the theme.
Yeah.
I don't know, Johnny. Yeah, so fine, fuck it. John wins, and I'm sure that John has a fantastic theme in mind for episode 175. He's got a home run of a theme that he's gonna send us to that episode with. So, Johnny, what do you got for us for the next episode? It better be great.
Well, let's see. Next week is going to be episode 175.
Make a theme great again.
Now, if you take 7, 5, and 1 and you add them together, you get 13. All right? And what is 13? 13 is probably not a very lucky number. You don't want to be around on Friday the 13th and so on and so forth. So, all that to say, it's a free play next week.
What the fuck?
Game That Tune. Free play.
You can't compare Fat Mega Man to 9/11. Free play.
I love the what at the end.
It's the what that we all were feeling for Johnny winning the episode. So of course Johnny wins and makes it a free play. I would expect no less. What a night. What a fucking win.
It's our new tradition for every 175 episodes. We have a free play.
Is well observed. Yeah. Is it possible that there's something in effect where I get all 4 games right and you win somehow? Is that what's going on here? Am I in hell? Like, what happened here?
Yeah,
No, I love the idea that that's the new rule of Game That Tune. So I'm really looking forward to that free play on episode 350.
The problem, John, is that you actually lost a point every time one of your fake mustaches fell off your face tonight. So you're actually in the negative.
No, I'm not. I didn't go through that many, but fine. Fuck it. This mustache, this one's a champ, man. This one stayed on for quite some time. I got to give it up. But anyway, yeah, that's all for our live viewers. For our podcast viewers, for everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you all so much for listening. We're live every Wednesday night. You can check us out at YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Search for Game That Tune. Thanks to everybody listening in podcast form. You can check us out anywhere you get your podcast. Search for Game That Tune. We appreciate you guys listening. Everybody needs to go check out merch.gamethattune.com. All right, Johnny, you won this week's episode, so tell them what they can get at the merch store.
You can get all kinds of things with our logos on it. You can get the Game That Tuna big ass mug. It is a 14-ounce or 15-ounce black coffee mug. It holds a lot of fucking coffee. You can get the Game That Tune classic t-shirt. You can get the Game That Tune woman's racerback tee. You can get the Game That Tune polo, the Game That Tune hat, the Game That Tune bath bag. You can get flecks of pee and shit on it. You can get the Game That Tune shower curtain.
Flex of shit. Whoa! How do you go to the bathroom, man?
John, I have a question. Let's say I want to get my wife something that she can wear underneath her pants. Do we have something for the ladies?
We do have Game That Tune ladies underwear. Along with
ladies underwear. No one calls it that.
Along with Game That Tune men's underwear. We have men's and women's underwears available.
So we have Game That Tune boxers, Game That Tune briefs, and Game That Tune. I'm sorry, what was that?
We don't have Game That Tune boxers. We just have the briefs.
Let's say I'm a woman, and it's I want to get flecks of shit somewhere, not on a bath mat, but also not on my pants. If I were to say put a garment between my shit spewing ass and my pants, what might that garment be called? And would it have a Game That Tune logo on it? Could I buy that at our merch store?
You could buy a pair of Game That Tune women's briefs.
Close enough. Fuck this. We're also going to start selling Game That Tune panty shields, Game That Tune diapers.
I'm so sorry. I can't get past the phrase, my shit spewing ass.
I mean, it's in the episode title.
Title.
So anyway, check out merch.gamethattune.com for real. Buy a shirt or a coffee mug. You don't need to buy all this other wacky shit.
I can't wait to buy our shit spewing ass shirt. I'm gonna find and get an artist to draw his shit spewing ass.
Thanks to everybody who makes requests. Thank you to Bedroth for our request this week. They sent us their request via Discord, but you can also hit us up, gamethattune@gmail.com. Hit us up in Twitter. Hit us up on Facebook, YouTube, anywhere you can find us, make a request. We love getting those from you guys. Special thanks to everybody checking out patreon.com/GameThatTune. It's the home for awesome exclusives. We've got Game That Tune gems, we got mixtapes, we've got Covered Up. We've got a lot of fun stuff going on over at patreon.com/GameThatTune. So check us out there and support the show. Special thanks to our super fan producers, Alex Messenger, Lance Revere, Damian Beckles, Bradford Stevens, Daniel Perky, and Chrono. You guys are all fantastic, and we appreciate your support of the show. And that's pretty much it. You can find us on Twitter, tweeting mustache gifs and talking about shit spewing asses at Game That Tune, or you can find me individually on Twitter. A lot less shit spewing ass content on Twitter at JGangsta187. You can find Jesse Moore on Twitter at
Sega_legend.
You can find David Fleming on Twitter at
DFD Fleming.
And you can find John Regan, the shit spewing ass of Game That Tune, on Twitter at
Womans_briefs.
Thanks, Johnny. And I'm sure you got fantastic bonus tunes ready to go. So what do we got, man?
I'm just going with a good old-fashioned standby classic, Rip and Tear from the Doom 2016 soundtrack.
Speaking of asses, peace out, everybody. Tekken Advance is copyright 2002 Bandai Namco Games. Lego Marvel Superheroes is copyright 2013 Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment. Henry Hatsworth and the Puzzling Adventure is copyright 2009 Electronic Arts. Final Fight Streetwise is copyright 2006 Capcom Company Limited. Guacamelee 2 is copyright 2018 Drinkbox Studios.